got another question. Got
Yep.
another business that it's a kind of a bar restaurant,
Yeah.
and the owner owns like 2 or 3 businesses. So he was going to give me a P&L to get a ballpark on the business evaluation, but I asked him for tax returns, and he said he wasn't necessarily interested in doing that because it would be multiple business tax returns. So should I ask for it anyhow, or should I just go with a P&L, or what would you do?
Well, when you're selling a business that has a tax return that's commingled with other businesses,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Again, it goes back to, are you anticipating needing a loan? So a lender is going to require the tax returns, and even more so, the lender then would require, if he's got 3 businesses, they're going to want the P&Ls from all 3, because now they have to look at the P&Ls from the business that's being sold. They've got to look at the P&Ls from the other 2, make sure that the combination adds up to the numbers that are on the tax return. So then they're not going to underwrite a loan without that. So the alternative is you go back to the seller and say, are you willing to finance the deal? I
Okay.
mean, if there's no lender financing to be had unless somebody comes in with a bag of cash, Mr. Seller or Miss Seller, you're going to need to finance it. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to be the bank?
Okay. So
And a lot of
basically,
sellers don't want to be the bank.
right.
It's high risk.
Yeah. And
So,
it's like I said, it's a bar and grill. He's grossing. He said around 600,
yep.
and I think I hadn't seen any numbers, just a phone call. Looks like he might be. If you take out his salary, I think his salary was like 60. We figured about 60 grand. So maybe about 60, and I think it was 35. So we're starting around 95 is I guess the net.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be super expensive, super valuable business, I don't guess.
Yeah, but again, I mean, even if you're selling it for 150 or 200 grand,
Hmm.
is somebody going to come in with a bag of cash?
He did
Or,
tell me he did tell me he got an offer for 125. I don't know how strong the offer was, but
okay.
um, so
Yeah, and terms are important, right? Because if somebody's offering 125, but I'll give you 25 down and I want you to carry a note for the other 100,
hmm
maybe he wants to do that, but maybe he doesn't.
he
So,
didn't think that was high enough for what he values it in his head.
yeah,
So um, so we'll see on that deal.
yeah. But you will need, I would ask for the tax returns anyways, because the other
Okay.
thing too is that he's got these 3, this one's doing 600 in revenue, roughly. What are the other 2 doing? More or less. Does the tax return show, 2 million in revenue? And if so, do the P&Ls for the other 2 show the other 14, or, the other amounts? So to get him to the 2 million, the 1,000,004, I guess. So,
Okay. So probably need to get it anyhow for the past 3 years then.
yeah,
Especially if there's going to be some kind of financing or um,
yeah, because
especially.
that's the only way you'll be able to get bank financing. But,
Okay.
I would start off with the tax returns, get those, but also tell him, if you're expecting a buyer to get a loan for this, if you're not going to sell or finance this, you're expecting a buyer to get a loan, the lender is going to require not only the tax returns, but also the P&Ls from the other businesses so that they can break it out.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing that becomes important when you have multiple businesses like that is, how separate are they? Sometimes
Yeah.
if they're all restaurants, he's buying food. Is he buying in bulk and then dividing it up and paying it through one business, but then sending it off to the other? So how true are your expenses,
Yeah.
cost of goods sold, and things like that? So that becomes harder. The other thing that can be difficult is employees. Yeah, he could have employees that work in multiple locations, but that are paid through one.
Right. Now
So,
the two different businesses I'm talking about, they're not related, but
oh, okay, all right,
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That makes it a little bit easier.
It's two different settlers, but yeah, there's still, he does have multiple businesses on the bar.
All
Restaurant.
right.
I was going to add one more comment too, is when you deal with the bar is a liquor license, because in some states that can be a showstopper if someone's got a sketchy background. So that may be something to consider ahead of time too.
You talking about difficult for the new buyer to obtain?
It can be, or there's you can set up what's called a management agreement where you're actually operating under the old license, but typically the seller wants to have nothing to do with it. So
Right.
the sooner they can convert it, the better, and they don't have any further liability. Because
Okay.
obviously insurance has to be through them too, and if you talk about liquor license insurance, I mean, you're in the tens of thousands of dollars. So I'm sure you want to get out of that, from under that.
Yeah.